What is up, YouTube, and welcome to this Wandavision Episode 5 breakdown, recap, Easter eggs, and finally, review. Oh baby, was that an episode and reveal at the end. While it did get spoiled online and was telegraphed throughout the episode, it really did have a big impact on myself, who was a big fan of the X-Men Fox universe. And baby, the multiverse is here. Now, of course, there will be spoilers in this video, so please do be warned, and drop a like down below if you enjoyed the episode, and subscribe with notifications on so you never miss a video. We open with Wanda holding Tommy. She is just trying to get them to sleep, and it's nice to return to Westview as our detour into just what is going on outside the Westview bubble, which is now called the Maximoff anomaly. Our boy Vision was trying to put one of the kids to sleep as well, using The Descent of Man by Charles Darwin, which funnily enough deals with mutations and human evolution. Funny that, could be a reference to the High Evolutionary, which is heavily connected to Wanda, or most possibly mutants, which are of course, again, very connected to the comic book version of the Scarlet Witch herself. Now, she magics them to sleep, or tries to, but it doesn't work as they appear to be immune to her magic, and, well, as she needed help really badly, Agnes swings by as Vision is just incredulous, asking how she knew, which she said she used her ears. And oh, does it get weirder as Agnes asks if they should do another take, or they should take it from the top. We knew Wanda is in control, but it looks like they are truly living a sitcom production, as these people of Westview are literally the pawns and toys for Wanda, as she wants to ensure that every take is perfect in her perfect little life. I think Agnes might be stronger than the others, as Norm needed waking up, and only her and Herb seem to be self-aware, and there's still no driving license for her. Wanda has her perfect life, and even wants it to be the twee American dream, as Vision starts questioning everything and wants to know how Agnes knew exactly when to come in, as it becoming evident to me that she was possibly an accomplice to Wanda. Agnes knows exactly how to put the kids to sleep and sprays lavender on them, as she mentions Ralph sprays it on her to calm her down. A bit of a oopsie daisy, how's your father there? Except it is also used in the occult to banish evil spirits, which is a curious one there, possibly a reference to the occult Mephisto perhaps, but the kids have grown up already in a shocking scene. It's evident they are now free of this hex world, as Darcy called it. They are independent of Wanda's powers, which can be shown as they act on their own and even grow against her wishes. Even Agnes hints at this, saying that kids, you can't control them, as she downs some liquor. Boy, she's having a rough time there. I wonder if she ever got to her aerobics lesson. Well, we then see the intro, which was exactly like Family Ties, as we see a hex-controlled brush painting the family, which is very overt, with the highlight being the baby's photos of Vision, and this symbolises Wanda painting her own family and putting them together. We then cut to Monica waking up after being yeeted as she is being looked over by Sword. Well, she said how she was kept under control, and it felt like a deep feeling of grief, which is a theme of this episode, as of course Vision's mortality is explored along with the children's dog Sparky, and it looks like she had an x-ray which is blank, and in the thing on that little iPad thing did look like a combination of her suit colours and powers. And, well, it looks like she very much has got her powers, and I'm adamant that the radiation changed her into her superhero self. Of course, Photon was a name of her. This is also referenced later in the episode, and the white thing on the iPad thing may very well have been Photon, giving her her name. Sword now know that Wanda is the absolute antagonist in this bubble and controlling it all. They talk about Wanda's history of being born in Sokovia and how their parents were killed and they were radicalized by Hydra. And Jimmy says this is an oversimplification of events, which yes, it really was, as Hayward is moving more into the enemy role this episode. Jimmy mentions the Mind Stone experimentation. However, we know from the Wakandan files that this merely unlocked something inside her, hinting at the X-Men and mutants. And I loved how they talk about an alias, and as of yet, Wanda does not have one, playing very much winky winky nudge nudge there, hinting at the Scarlet Witch moniker possibly being given. Hayward labels her a terrorist, which, well, Monica takes umbrage with, as it's not politically motivated and she's just misguided. Wanda limited her bubble and didn't want to have too much of an impact on the wider world. And we almost got a theory correct, as I thought Vision was being held at the DODC in New York, which we saw in Spider-Man Homecoming, but his body was being held at Sword HQ, where she stole him from. Now, while they say Vision didn't want to be a weapon of someone else, and it was his will not to be revived, it's clear that Vision was being experimented on at Sword HQ, and they may have been making weapons for him, and that may explain why Sword went from sentient world to sentient weapons, which Monica alluded to at the name change last episode. Now, Hayward clearly has another agenda here, and clearly wants to get Vision back just so he can make weapons from his body, which is interesting. Just maybe he's an agent of AIM, possibly along with Agnes. Maybe he sent Agnes there to leak the location so that Wanda will steal Vision to try and revive him. Now, this is similar, or at least the jailbreak was similar to the comics in Vision and the Scarlet Witch with the 1985 run at the start, because Vision was being kept in Project Pegasus. Now let's go back to Captain Marvel. Yes, Project Pegasus was a big thing in Captain Marvel, and of course they were working for them, and then spun out of Project Pegasus we got Sword. Very cool things there. Now, he was being investigated and experimented on until Wanda had had enough and took her husband back and left to live an idyllic life. The body snatching scene was actually supposed to be an endgame post-credit scene. However, confirmed by Paul Bettany, it was never actually filmed. We'll then cut to the kids who are bathing a dog in secret, who they then decide to keep, and it just appeared out of nowhere. We know that Billy has the powers of his mother, so it could be crazy to think that he has actually willed his own dog into existence, as Vision comes in shocked at what has happened just as Agnes comes in there. This dog parallels Wanda resurrecting Vision, and Vision himself is again mentioning that Agnes has come in just in time with the thing they need, a kennel, as the dog is touching an electrical outlet. Now, it's weird as the dog almost died as they name him Sparky, and the dog did sadly die later, eating some poisonous leaves, and, well, it seemed like he had a death wish of its own. Maybe Billy can't control the will of the things that, well, he controls, as well as his mother. She even later mentions that you can't avoid grief by growing up instantly, and there are no shortcuts to really dealing with grief, which shows she's dealing with the death of her brother and her lover. Now, Vision did have a dog in the 2016 run where he made his own family, and his dog died after digging up the Grim Reaper and being electrocuted. The Grim Reaper already being hinted at in this show in a brief Easter egg. Vision then put together a robot dog with the same brain patterns, which is a nice callback with the same name too. Now, later in that as well, the dog was sadly destroyed, and then Iron Man and Wanda did help put him back together again, which very cool Easter eggs. And that was in Vision 2016, which I highly recommend checking out. Now, Monica is then talking with Darcy about how Monica can re-enter the Westview bubble safely, and they need a hefty vehicle with all sorts of sciencey terms and photons and things on it. I'm not very good at science there. I got a double D, and, Well, I was happy with that because, yeah, I like the meme of that grade, but they need an aerospace engineer, which Monica knows, who would be up to the challenge. Well, as we theorised last video, Reed Richards could be working for SWORD, and he is an aerospace engineer, so who else but him? A wild guess, but he could use that take to then go into space on the Marvel 1, then gaining his powers. The hexagons are mentioned again by someone out of the bubble, as she says the hex could mind wipe Monica if she goes into the bubble, and it seems like the hexagons are simply just a manifestation of the outside real protective bubble, but I seriously hope they are more than this after all of these theories. Now, Monica says that everything is real, and Jimmy says she warps people's perception, which of course so far in the MCU she has. But they realise that the whole set in the sitcom is real, which means she has a stupid amount of power. Of course, she is an Omega level mutant in the comics, and she is changing things and making things for real, like Monica's clothes, and they were changed to Kevlar. They also mention that she could have taken out Thanos had he not, thrown a blitz, and they debate over whether, well, Captain Marvel had a better shot at taking out Thanos, as yes, she does get triggered at that. Now, they decide to send in something that requires no change, which explains why they're sending in a drone from the 1980s later in the episode. Vision is at work on a Saturday, having been sent there, I imagine, as he was asking too many questions, and they load up a Commodore and get an email from Darcy talking about the high levels of radiation at the Westview bubble, and she has no idea what effect it has on the residents, as he manipulates Norm to really turn him back normal, and he has a breakdown asking to stop Wanda as Vision turns him back. Now, the drone is then sent into the show as Wanda looks menacing as she destroys the drone, and Hayward wanted to shoot a missile at her, and boy is he sus or what. However, Mummy Wanda doesn't want to take people threatening her children very lightly, as she comes out of the bubble dragging the drone and even has her Sokovian accent back. She used the US accent to fit in with her Avengers family, but here, alone and desolate, she reverts back to her original programming. Monica tries to connect with Wanda and says how Wanda must trust her because, well, she let her deliver her babies. She gives SWORD a warning in a powerful scene and mind controls the agents to turn their guns on the director. Yes, only the director, and not Monica or anyone else in the vicinity, which indicates that Hayward is possibly an evil person. I mean, he was going to drone strike some kids, but yeah, I won't get into the politics on that one. Now, she turns the barrier red too, making it even more impenetrable, and I probably pronounced that wrong, so you're gonna let me know in the comments, I imagine, as we cut to an advert, which is possibly the most overt yet, with Lagos paper towels, the towel for messes you didn't mean to create. Yes, obviously a reference to Lagos, the incident in Civil War, which really did kickstart the Sokovian Accords. Yes, we then cut to the kids, and Sparky sadly died, and well, there was a pep talk given to the kids about bereavement, and she's being hypocritical here, as she is doing the literal thing the kids want her to do, which is revive Sparky, and maybe Agnes left Sparky outside in a bid to get Wanda to revive something else. Now, that's very curious, as in the Vision and Scarlet Witch comic, we did have a whole thing with reviving people back from the dead, and that might be possibly Agnes is trying to revive either Wonder Man or as well something else. Yes, the Grim Reaper. That would be interesting, but I do like the idea that Simon Williams, the Wonder Man himself, will possibly be created out of Vision's corpse and SWORD's messing. Now, with all good sitcoms, we have the final scene, the resolution, and the message sinking in as Vision says how she can't control him like the others, and she drops the credits to walk off out of the situation. Man, I wish I could do that with Conversations. And he asks what the Maximoff anomaly is, and he wants to know why she is controlling everyone, as, well, he thought it was a simulation, but realizes she is indeed controlling everyone. She says he doesn't want to know what is outside, of course. Yes, he is dead, but a visitor pops up, and just like every danged sitcom uncle, it's Pietro, as Darcy says they've recast Pietro, which of course, no, they didn't, as in my opinion, he has been brought there by the energy or even by Mephisto, as she's been given what she wants. She clearly didn't do this, she doesn't recognise him at all, and he says long lost bro, which is beyond key here, as in the X-Men movies, he did not live with Wanda and his family storyline was unresolved as of Dark Phoenix, which means during that time he's been searching for his true sister, except he's found that one, but in the wrong reality. Yes, the multiverse is here. We are here. But there are theories that Pietro here could simply be Mephisto in disguise. And I really, really hope that is not the case. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Please do drop a like as well if you enjoyed it. And please do subscribe with notifications on, as tomorrow we will be breaking out some of these ideas we discussed into a preview for the next episode. I'll see you soon, and goodbye.